Hello there viewers, and welcome back to another live stream today here on my channel, here on Batters Racing Co. Now first things first, those of you who watched the end of end of yesterday's stream will have heard me say that I was going to try and simulcast for this round. I was going to try and broadcast both on my channel and on the MRL Racing channel. Well, unfortunately, in typical style, I've had technical difficulties as always, so I can't do that. So I'm just streaming on my own channel instead. And yeah, those of you who are watching, you join me for round number 9 of the Group 3 100 mile series, and we are here today at the Nurburgring GP-Circuit for, yeah, like I say, round 9 of this championship, of this series in the MRL Racing League. We are going to be starting any second now, basically whenever I'm ready. I think we've got everybody. Yeah, we do. And everybody's entered as well. So, if I change the settings over to the sprint race settings, we will be ready to go. Time of day's wrong, whoops, hold on. Got those things run the wrong way. Change that to that. And let's go. So, first of all, we have got a 5-minute, 10-minute qualifying session, 5-minute qualifying session, 5 minutes, that's it, yeah. Got a 5-minute qualifying session, then we have a 7-lap race, which you can see on the screen now, and then the results from that race determines the grid for the feature race, which is 25 laps long. So that's what we've got coming up after this. Both these races are point scoring races, both quite important. The feature race more important than the sprint race, but yeah, both very much do dish out points. So I think we are ready to go. Everybody's entered. Let's wish everybody good luck. Got a few people missing today, unfortunately. I think summer and the easing of restrictions has taken its hit. I think there's a lot of people not at home or busy doing other things. So yeah, a lot of people now at work. Now they've got jobs back. So yeah, right, let's go. The Nurburgring GP-Circuit, not a track that I particularly like, but a decent circuit, very good handling track. Yeah, very twisty circuit, quite narrow. So yeah, definitely favours the handling cars. If we have a look at the cars that everyone's using, we've got Peugeot RCZ, AMG, not really a handling car, but RCZ definitely is a handling car. GTR, that's Jake, yeah, he always uses the GTR regardless of if it's any good or anything. You got the Supra, that's good, certainly for the high-speed corners. You got the Viper, again, Ryan just picks the Viper regardless. Then you got the Beetle, very good handling car, and then yeah, AMG again. AMG, very, very good all-round car. Not necessarily great at anything, but not bad at anything either. So we are on board then for qualifying. We are on our outlaps at the moment, obviously, on the first lap of qualifying. And yeah, on board with Sheikh Shabazz, or looking at Sheikh Shabazz. Now, I am going to be operating the camera with a keyboard, but I'm still not very good at it. I'm not very used to using a keyboard, so hopefully I'll be a bit more fluent than I was yesterday with the keyboard. Hopefully I'll be a bit better at it, but I'm still a bit like working out what all the buttons do, still getting used to it, okay? So apologies if I'm a bit, oops, I pressed the wrong button, a bit like that sometimes. So let's go to the chase cam of Sheikh. We've got all the graphics on screen and I don't know why. I was having problems yesterday for those of you that watched. I was having problems getting the graphics on screen. I had no idea what was going on. So Sean, he's gone with the AMG. That's the car he was using yesterday quite a lot in the sprint series. Like I say, good all-round car. And Martin. Oh, Martin was racing yesterday. He's in the Toyota Supra. Then you got Kelvin in the VW Beetle. You've got Jake. I think it's Batty. He was trying to tell me how to say his name earlier, and I couldn't work out what he was saying. I think he was saying that it's Jake Batty or Beatty. I don't really know. He's anyway in his trusty Nissan GTR. Then we've got MJK. We haven't seen him for ages. Mohammed Jilan Khan, otherwise just known as Jilan. He's in 6th place. You've got Diman Ivanov in 7th place in the AMG. Got Ryan in his trusty Viper in P8. John Hardy, Apex Magnet in the Toyota Supra, and then you've got Manupuri, MG Tej Iswan, I think that's how you meant to say that, in the AMG, and then you've got Johnny Newbold. Is he fuel burning at the back? Yes, he is. in the Beetle, burning as much fuel as he possibly can before he starts. Well, he'll probably do 2 qualifying laps, but yeah, before he starts his laps. So let's go on board with Sheikh Shabazz then. So from the roof cam, going through turn number 4, he's taken that reasonably well. Let's see what his sector time is at the end of this first sector. That's a 35.7. Don't know what that compares to others. We'll see on the next laps if that's any good or not. And then coming now in to turn 6 into the forward curve. Misses apex there slightly, but didn't turn that too bad at all. Heading down now to the Dunlop Care. There's 2 different ways you can take this corner. You can turn it into a V shape, which is how I do it, or you can just take it how you would normally take the corner, just hug the curb. But I do what Shake's doing here. So I go in deep, yeah, and then get on the power early. Power out the corner, kind of straight line the exit. Helps you get the power down without losing the back end. And then through the Schumacher S, and then up to this left-hander here, which I believe is called RTL. I was looking last night at what the corner names are. Couldn't quite work out what they are called, but I think this is called RTL. Took that quite well there. And then into the Vorsteiner curve. Really, really difficult corner this. Tiny dab of the brakes, just a gap in the barriers on the left-hand side. You dab the brakes just as that goes out of shot. And then going for a late apex and get on the power really early out of there. Heading up to the chicane here, braking just after the 100 metre board on the right hand side. So slam the brakes on, absolutely launch over the curbs. Oh, Shake's been very cautious there. Oh, you can't, Shake, you need to be braver than that. You want to be really launching it over those curbs, like like the top of the curb in the middle of your car. Then through this final corner here, out onto the start finish line. What is this lap time going to be? A 1:54 is a good lap, so it's a 55.1 from Shake. We've got Sean's done a 55.8, Martin 56.3. Jake, I'm just looking down the left here. Oh, Kelvin's done a 1:54.5. That's a good lap from Kelvin. Kelvin said he was struggling around here. Yeah, right. Dimman's done a 54.9 as well, so that's a good lap. Ryan 55.1. Everyone's on their final laps to qualify now, by the way. Oh, John Hardy 1:54.3. That's really quick. Like I say, 1:54 is a good lap time around here. If you can do a 53, then that is amazing. If I go on board, if I go look at Johnny, he was the fastest person in practice just before this, and he was the fastest person yesterday as well in the sprint series. So as he comes across the line, then what is his lap time going to be? It's going to be a 54.4. So very good lap there from Johnny, and he's on another flying lap here. So let's go on board with him now. Press that button there. There we go. Oh, he's gone in deep into turn 1. And he's hit all the cones, so not a great start to the lap as we see the cones flying through the air behind him. Coming out of turn 2, as you can see on screen now, everybody is on their final lap of the session. Yeah, looks like he's aborted this lap because he was only half braking into there then. Coming up to the end of sector 1, what is his split going to be? 55.8, yeah, third of a second off. So we'll jump away from Johnny then. Who should we jump to? Let's jump to Kelvin. There we go, in the Beetle. Oh, he's in the slipstream. He's got the slipstream from Jake Beatty. And he's just under a 10th down. Just a little bit less than a 10th down on his previous lap time. Got slipstream though, up this straight, up into the chicane as he hits the brakes just after the 100 metre board. It's easy in this situation to go into the back of the car in front. When you got slipstream, you know you need to brake earlier than normal, but you don't know how much earlier. You just know you need to be earlier. So it's very, very easy to rear end the guy in front in this kind of situation. So Sheikh Shabazz comes to the end of qualifying then, sits at 1:55.0 and goes into 5th place. And as Kelvin comes across the line, didn't manage to improve there, so he's in 3rd place at the moment. We've got Dimman go across the line. He stays in P4. It's very difficult to operate the camera in this scenario as Ryan goes into P4. So Ryan's just coming across the line then, improved on his previous lap time by half a second and set a 1:54.6. And have we got anybody else still yet to finish? Like I said, it's really difficult to operate the camera in qualifying. It doesn't work how you would like it to. Going to the back, Martin Jekov, no, hasn't improved on his time. And then as Johnny comes across the line, Johnny Ewell comes across the line, he, in fact, did not improve as we expected. So that's the end of qualifying then with Apex Magnet on pole. We've got Johnny Newbold in 2nd place. Kelvin Gomersall is in 3rd with Ryan Sandel starting in P4 for the sprint race. Remember, this is 7 laps long. There is no fuel. Well, there is fuel and tyre wear, but there's no strategy basically is what I'm trying to say. You burn through fuel way too slowly for it to be an issue. You'll have loads of fuel left whatever you do by the end of the race. And unfortunately we haven't got the graphics on screen, which is really annoying. And I don't know why the game keeps doing this. Basically when you start the race in keyboard mode, all you have is a position count on the left. Well, I want to see people's lap times and stuff on the card, which is annoying. But anyway, coming to start race 1 of round 9. Coming to start the sprint race. If you win this race, you get 16 points, I believe. So there is, you know, there is a point to winning this race. Not only do you get 16 points, but you also then start on pole for the feature races as well. So as the race begins then, we've got Apex Magnet in the lead of the race. First few corners will probably be a bit dull, to be honest, simply because it's a rolling start, so everyone's a little bit spread out. No one's side by side yet. As you've got Johnny Newbold going a little bit wide there, coming out of turn number 1. Oh, Ryan is side by side with Kelvin. That was a sneaky move there, going up the inside of Kelvin Gomersall into turn number 2. As Kelvin is getting swamped here. Diman Ivanov has just gone up his inside as well. Kelvin, you've been caught napping, mate. You need to wake up. 2 people have overtaken you in the first 4 corners of the race. Go on, get your foot down. You've got Shake right behind you as well. Is Shake Shabazz going to capitalise on Kelvin as well at the start of this race? Going down into turn number 6, into the 4 curve. No, Shake is going to stay behind Kelvin. And yeah, it looks like Kelvin then has settled in P5 after starting in 3rd place. Looking at the track map, looks like we've already got a bit of field spread towards the back of the grid. So if we jump back to 10th place, it looks like there may have been an incident between Manu Puri and Martin Jekov, because there's already a big grid spread. Manu Puri being 2.7 seconds behind Sean Pretty. So yeah, not too sure what happened there. But going back to the front of the field, you've got John Hardy in P1, Johnny Newbold in 2nd place, Ryan Sandel in 3rd, you've got Diman Ivanov in 4th place, Kelvin Gomersall in 5th, Shake Shabazz in 6th place, you've got Manu Puri in P7, Jake Beatty in 8th, you've got Sean Pretty in 9th, Manu Puri in 10th, and then you've got Martin Jekov in P11. Going up into the chicane now. Is anyone going to go for any sort of sends? Just trying to look in the background. No, they are not at the moment. Let me just check the camera settings that I'm on. Am I on the correct settings? Yes, I am. Okay, don't know why this is doing it. Oh, what? The graphics have appeared. Okay, answers on a postcode as to why it just did that, but now I've got the graphics, that's good. So coming to the start of lap 1 then, yet John Hardy has managed to keep the lead of the race, but going down into turn 1, Johnny Newbold is looking up his inside. Is he going to go for the move? Thinks better of it. Oh, there's contact though on the exit of turn number 1. There is a significant bit of contact between Johnny Newbold and Apex Magnet. Let's look at the replay there. Going back on board with Johnny Newbold, going down into turn 1. All looked quite okay, but it looks like Apex Magnet maybe did go in a little bit deep. And a bit of contact there with Johnny and John. Can't really say anyone was particularly to blame there, to be honest, because it does look like Apex Magnet went in a little bit deep and Johnny was just sort of taking the normal racing line. Tried to avoid him but couldn't really. Exiting turn number 6 now, Ryan Soundle, he's got the run on John Hardy. John Hardy's really not had a good start to this lap here. He's down to P3, so after going in deep into turn 1, he's now been overtaken out of turn 6, out of the 4 curve by Ryan Soundle. So Ryan then into 2nd place after starting 4th on the grid, but he's put a wheel into the gravel trap. Coming out of the Dunlop Care, is John going to be able to capitalise on this? Coming out of the Schumacher S, John Hardy, he's got a run on Ryan Sandel going up into RTL. You've got Apex Magnet. Oh, he was looking up the inside then, but he thought better of it. Decided to back out of that move then. I probably would have gone for that, to be honest, but as we were speaking about yesterday, John is quite a cautious driver, very polite, gives people room, doesn't go for dive bombs, Apex Magnet. He does have a tendency to be very gentlemanly, which is a good thing, but does sometimes cost him positions. So yeah, John decided not to go for the move there into RTL and stay behind Ryan in 3rd place. Diman Ivanov putting a really good drive here. It's his first race in ages. He's just got himself a Fanatec CSL Elite, I believe. He's been waiting ages for it to arrive, and he's finally got hold of it. So yeah, Diman Ivanov finally back racing now with a Fanatec. Let's go on board with him. Heading down to turn 1. He's got a run on John Hardy here. Going down to the Castrol S. He's gone to the right. Is he going to be able to hold the move? Is he going to be able to complete it? As he hits the brakes, they are side by side through turn number 1. And coming out the first corner then, Diman is in fact into 3rd place. So John Hardy, who was in the lead at the start of the previous lap, this time last lap, he was in 1st place. He's now all the way down to 4th. So yeah, his cautious driving style maybe has cost him a little bit here. Maybe should have defended a little bit more, been a bit more aggressive. So he's down now to P4 and he's got Kelvin right behind him. So it's going from bad to worse here for John Hardy, as Kelvin, he's only 3 tenths behind. So Kelvin's seemingly got into a rhythm after that start where he got swamped a little bit. managed to get into a rhythm, pull away from MJK behind him, and now he is very much gaining on John Hardy in front. In the slipstream of him, has John got slipstream himself? Having a look at the gaps up in the top left, he does not. He's out of the slipstream range of Dimon here. He's right on the borderline. Oh, he's getting back into it now, but basically by being on the borderline, if you fall out of slipstream, that makes you very, very vulnerable on the straights. It will be easy pickings for Kelvin on the start-finish straight if he does fall out of Dimon's slipstream range. Having a look at the track map, looks like there is a big cluster of cars behind. So looks like MJK's falling back a little bit here from Kelvin Gomersall, and he's got a big swarm of cars right behind him. So you've got MJK heading up to the chicane. He's got Jake Beatty in his slipstream in that Nissan GTR, very quick on the straights, unlike the RCZ. And Jake is on the outside into the chicane here. Oh, but he backs out of it. Oh no, there's a bit of a mess now. Shake Sabaz is going to get past Jake instead. So Shake and Jake battling going into this final corner, and you've got Sean Pretty going for the move as well. Oh, we've got 2 cars off. We've got 2 cars off in the gravel trap. Shake Shabazz has what's happened there? That's a disconnect in my eyes. And what on earth has happened here? Whoa! What's happened there? What? 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 Has my internet got... What on earth is going on here? Have we got aliens or something? Manu Perry's gone mad, and we've got 2 cars inside each other off at the last corner who have now left the room. Oh, man, what on earth is going on here? Yes, I declare aliens. It's definitely aliens. What on earth is going on here? How did 2 people disconnect at exactly the same time? That's the bit that doesn't make sense. I can understand people disconnecting, but disconnecting exactly at the same time inside one another, that's a first. I've never seen that before. But anyway, we'll get back to commentating. We'll ignore that ever happened, as we've got 9 people left in this race. Johnny Newbold's into the lead of the race. Was that? Yeah, he was already in the race, wasn't he? Sorry, we're getting overly excited. So yeah, you've got Johnny Newbold still in the lead, with Ryan Sandel in 2nd place. You've got Dimon still in P3, with Apex Magnet in 4th, and Kelvin right behind him still in P5. Going up into the chicane, Kelvin has got a run on him here. He's in the slipstream, but Kelvin's car is the VW Beetle, which has no straight line speed. So it's going to be difficult for him to pull alongside here. Going down into the chicane, braking at the 100-metre board. He's going to hang it around the outside. Is he going to try and stay there? No, he's not. No, tucks in behind John Hardy. Oh no, he's lost it. Oh, John spun in the Supra coming out of the chicane. Oh no. Oh, he's doing donuts on the grass now. Oh, that's a shame. He put it on pole and he was leading the race. Oh, now he's down in last place. Let's have a look at the replay there. Apex Magnet seemingly just lit up the rears coming out of the chicane here. Just, yeah, lost it on the curb, I would guess. And off he went, off into the grass to cut some grass, do some lawn mowing. We've got MJK's now left the room. What is going on here? Is my internet bad or something? Could someone who's watching just tell me whether it's my internet? Is there, just problems with the stream? Or is it just everyone else's internet having a meltdown? Because we don't normally have issues. So on lap 5 of the race then, got Johnny Newbold in the lead of the race, but Ryan is really close behind now. He's very much real Johnny in. Done a 1 minute 54.2, so that's a superb lap time. Quicker than anybody managed in qualifying, and he is right behind Johnny now, coming out of the Dunlop car, going up to the Schumacher S. He's in the slipstream range of Johnny Newbold, and Ryan is in the Dodge Viper, which has got really good straight line speed, unlike the VW Beetle. Beetle is very good around the corners and rubbish on the straights, and the Viper is the opposite to that. So Ryan with slipstream is going to not find it easy to get past Johnny here, but he's definitely going to have an advantage. He's going to be in a strong position here. So coming out of the Vorsteiner curve, in the switching range of Johnny Newbold, he is 4 tenths behind, so I can't have thought a move will be on into the chicane. But turn 1 should definitely be an easy overtaking spot. Through turn 1, you can either go up the inside, or you can hang it around the outside and then complete the move into turn 2. You can get on the left hand side for turn 2. So it's a very, very good overtaking spot, this first corner. So exiting the Coca-Cola curve then, onto the start finish straight. Ryan is, got a good exit there, very good exit. I'm looking at the gap in the top left hand side. He's very much gaining on Johnny. Heading down to turn 1, Johnny's gone defensive. Is Ryan going to be able to hang it round the outside? Or maybe even try and do the cutback? Then going down to turn 1, he's going to try and do the cutback here. Ryan, so he's on the right hand side, on the outside for turn 2. Is he going to pull the move off on the outside here as Manupuri rejoins the room? He's on the outside going through turn number 3. On this penultimate lap of the race, it looks like Johnny has stayed in front as everyone is rejoining the room. Battling back into the room, going down now to turn number 5 into this left-hander. Yeah, Ryan has indeed settled back into second place. I thought he was going to get the move pulled off there, you know, Ryan. He was more than half a car length alongside going into turn 2. He had every right to kind of cut across Johnny there and try and seal the move off. But no, he was gentlemanly, left Johnny space, and Johnny, as a result, back into the lead of the race as we cut back to the outboard shot. Looks like Dimon Ivanov has dropped back a bit here. He's over 2 seconds behind now, with Kelvin, I think, right behind him looking at the track map. On this penultimate lap now, heading up to the left-hander of RTL. Oh no, looks like Kelvin's dropped right back actually. We cut quickly back to Kelvin. Yeah, he's had an off on lap number 4. Ah, that was the incident with Apex Magnet, wasn't it? That was the spin with Apex Magnet, which he got caught up in. We're heading up to the chicane now. Ryan, he's got a run on Johnny once more. Don't think he's close enough though to go for the move. No, just going to sit behind instead. Remember, this race, as I've said previously, results from this race decides the grid for the feature race. So you do want to try and do well here if you can. Looks like I've got someone in the chat. Is that Manupuri? Blue screen, told you I've had a bad race. Yeah. I can see you keep leaving and rejoining the room. Don't worry if you've got problems. The second race won't start for another 10 minutes, so you've got time to sort it out. And Neil, I'm just looking at the chat here. I would think if it were your internet, you would see all the other cars working, not just 1 or 2. Yeah, I don't think it is by internet. It's FNN and it's like some beastly internet. I've got like 650 megabytes speed, megabytes per second speed. So yeah, I don't think it is my internet that's playing up here. But on this final lap then, can Ryan catch up Johnny at all? Can he go for a move into the chicane towards the end of this lap? That's probably the only remaining overtaking spot. Doesn't look like he can go for the move into the hairpin here. He's 6 tenths behind, so unless he goes for the send of all sends, I don't think he's going to be able to overtake Johnny. Ryan did a 156 on that previous lap. I'm trying to think why. Ah, it's because of the first sector, wasn't it? Where they were side by side with each other throughout the whole of the first sector. Having a look at the track map, it looks like there's a battle going on for 5th. Yes, there is indeed. So Sean Pretty and MJK. Sean has managed to make his way up from 9th place, where he was at the start of the race. Managed to climb up to 5th place. He's now got MJK side by side with Geelan down into turn number 11. Side by side into the left-hander. They are bumper to bumper quite literally through that corner there. Shawnee's managed to hold Geelan off there. Managed to hold off MJK. Just about managed to keep 5th place, as MJK's also got a penalty. So yeah, that battle will probably end up as it is, with Geelan serving his penalty. But coming through this last corner then, you got Ryan very, very close to Johnny Newbold, but not quite close enough. So coming to the end of this race, Johnny Newbold, he's going to take the win in the sprint race. You've got Ryan Sandel in 2nd place. You've got Dimon Ivanov in a very, very strong P3, first time using his Fanatec. They've got Kelvin Gomersall in P4, done very well considering he hates this track. You've got Sean Pretty in 5th, MJK a close 6th, and then Martin Jekov in 7th place, and then John Hardy coming home in 8th. So, that was a good race, I think, aside from all the people disconnecting. Ah, it's Jake in the comment section. Yeah. Looks like you and Shake disconnected at exactly the same time, by the way, Jake, so I don't think it was necessarily your problem. I think it may have been a lobby issue. You, Shake, both disconnected at the same time, and Manupuri also, his internet went up the creek at the same time. His car started flying around all over the place. So I think that may have been some sort of lobby issue. But yeah, guys, I'm going to go quiet for a little bit. Going to put you onto the intermission screen as I just go and sort a few things out and program the next race. So I'll see you in a few minutes' time. Goodbye. Okay, as always, we're having technical issues. We are having disconnects and all kinds of problems. Looks like Johnny Newbold and Martin Chekhov are having issues. Johnny Newbold's now ready. Apparently his brake throttle is sticking, and Martin Chekhov is not in the room. So just gonna have to wait for him to rejoin. Looks like the GT Sport servers are being as good as they always are. Disconnecting people left, right and centre. Basically on GT Sport, if you haven't got phenomenal internet, then you're screwed. If you're like Sheikh Shabazz or Jake Beatty, who don't have the best of internet, then just forget it. You're going to get disconnected after time, as is the case with them. Looking at Manu Puri right now, as we wait for Martin Chekhov to rejoin the room. The sound quality, by the way, for this race should be a little bit better. My mic quality, I had the air conditioning on in the first race. Now I've turned it off though and opened the window instead. So shouldn't have the noise of the aircon in the background. As we sit here and we wait. Strategy for this race should be an easy one stop. Tyres might be an issue because of how twisty this track is. Oh, there is Martin. He is back. Let's wait for him to enter, then we can start. So yeah, tyres might be an issue. I would imagine everyone will use super softs, but you may want to be conservative with your tyres. You may not want to push them too hard because they may be dead by the time you get to half race distance. I would imagine everyone will pit around about lap 12, lap 13. I'd probably pit lap 12. Try and undercut some people with fresh tyres. I wouldn't have thought fuel saving would be something that is really done. Sure, people will probably fuel save where possible, but you'll be able to get to half race distance no problem on a tank of fuel, almost certainly. So, as we wait for Martin to enter. Let's wish everybody good luck. There we go. And we shall begin. Okay, so feature race then. Points for winning this race. I think you get 120 or 110 points. Something like that. 112, it's somewhere around about that region. So you get a lot of points for winning this race, but the points gaps aren't that big. So you get 104 points for second, then like 102 points for third or something like that. I can't remember how it works now. But yeah. Although it sounds amazing getting 110 points, it's not actually as amazing as it sounds. And let's just check the settings here. Yeah, it is correct. Good, got all the graphics on screen like last time. That's a nice change. So as we race, wait then for the feature race to begin. Everyone's flat out on the throttle, and away we go. So Johnny Newbold then got a decent start, but Ryan Sandel, as always, got an absolute rocket of a launch in his Dodge Viper. That thing is a weapon off the line. Heading down to turn 1. Is there going to be any carnage? Looking at the map down in the bottom left, doesn't look like there was. So well done everybody. Managed to make your way through one of the most tricky corners on GT Sport, one of the trickiest first corners, without hitting anybody off. Going down into turn 4. No, there's a bit of contact. Spoke too soon, as it looks like MGK just punted round one of those cars. Let's have a look at the replay there. That it may have just been a bit of a concertina effect. But going on board with MJK here, you've got Manu Puri in front. Oh no, it looks like it may have been Sheikh Shabazz, who caused that. May have been a take up there by Sheikh Shabazz, went in a little bit too deep on the brakes and spun round his friend Manu Puri. So that'll probably be something that needs reviewing after the race if Manu Puri wants it to be reviewed. So a bit of shame there. Looks like there's someone else as well who spun out at the start. Ah, no, Sheikh's waiting for him. No, that's fine then. Sheikh's waiting for him, yeah. I thought it was Sheikh's fault, that's fine. He's slowed down and waiting for him. That's very good. So Ryan Sandel then, after getting that rocket of a launch, is in the lead of the race with Johnny Newbold in P2. You then got Dimon Ivanov in 3rd place. You've got Sean Pretty in 4th. Kelvin Gomersall very close 5th place. He's going to have the run on him, going up to the chicane. But then a bit of a gap back to Jake Beatty and the ensuing pack. Oh, got 2 cars side by side in the background there. Oh, who are? Yeah, we are. MJK and Martin Jekov just gone side by side through that chicane. I think Martin was ahead going into it, but yeah, now got Martin Jekov in his Toyota Supra in P7, heading down to this first chicane. Johnny Newbold has made a mistake, you know. He's made a mistake. I think out of that chicane, he's gone down to P3. So Dimon Ivanov is up into 2nd place here, as my voice just breaks rather embarrassingly. And then you've got Johnny Newbold now down to 3rd, and Sean Pretty in 4th, and Kelvin Gomersall in 5th. So yeah, seems like Johnny made a mistake there at some point when we weren't watching. As we go on board with him here, is he going to try and get back past Dimon Ivanov, heading down to the hairpin? It is an overtaking spot, this. You can go for the move. Neil Moore commenting, well played Sheikh Shabazz, good sportsmanship, yeah. That's what we teach people to do in this league. If you spin someone out, okay, as long as you let them back, then it's not the end of the world. All side by side here, MJK and Martin Jekov once more. They were side by side into the chicane half a lap ago, and they're side by side once more. But yeah, Martin, he's managed to hold on to P7 here, as MJK looked up the inside, but yeah, couldn't pull the move off. But John Hardy all the way down in 9th place here. Remember, he put it on pole position in qualifying and was then leading the sprint race before getting swamped and then spinning out, coming out the chicane. So although he's down in 9th place here, definitely someone to look out for. Having a look further ahead, looks like there's 2 cars side by side as I try and jump to that. Oh, try and press the right button. Got Kelvin Gomersall in P5. He was side by side with Sean Pretty there. But Kelvin, what he's going to find in this race is that he's in the VW Beetle. So he's going to struggle to overtake anybody because it's got no straight line speed. Going to, yeah, struggle to make inroads on anybody on the straights. But Sean Pretty's got a penalty here. Thought he straight lined that then. Looks like he messed up the chicane there. Went straight across it and he's got himself a half-second penalty. Now around this circuit, it's difficult to burn penalties, difficult to get rid of them. You don't normally kind of accidentally get rid of a penalty around here. To get rid of that penalty, Sean is probably going to have to slam the brakes on and lose a lot of time. So that is not ideal then for Sean Pretty with that penalty. Looks like Jake Beatty has had an incident. Going back to P9, did he have a slow lap time? Yes, he did. He was 5 seconds off the pace in that previous lap. He's gone down to P9. So my guess would be that he had a spin potentially through that chicane like Apex Magnet did in race 1. Not great then from Jake Beatty at Nissan GTR. Very, very difficult on traction. Very difficult to get the power down in that car. It's one of the reasons why I hate it. And yeah, my guess would be that he lost traction then. So not great then for Jake. He may be with Shake soon, you know. The iconic duo of Shake and Jake may be back together once more at some point in this race. We can have fun going Shake and Jake all the time. Johnny Newbold still right behind Dimon Ivanov. Still looking to get past him. Now Johnny may be fuel saving. Yes, he is. He just upshifted very early then, just looking at his telemetry down at the bottom. So I remember round 1 at the Red Bull Ring, Johnny did an absolutely phenomenal job of fuel saving in people's slipstream. He made mincemeat of me. I was behind him early on in the race and he beat me by about 10 seconds in the end. Flew off into the distance just through fuel saving and being able to underfuel the car. So going into the chicane there, he's going up the inside of Dimon Ivanov. He's going to go for the move here and he's going to pull it off. So Johnny Newbold, after making that mistake on lap 1, he's back up into 2nd place here. So managed to recover then into 2nd place. Past Dimon Ivanov, who, like I say, is using his Fanatec CSL Elite for the first time. So Johnny seemingly isn't going to be fuel saving then. I thought he was going to sit behind Dimon on fuel save there. But no. Back up into P2. Seemingly going to try and chase after Ryan Sandel. Do you know what? He may have looked up ahead to the gap to Ryan. May have been tracking the gap to the leader. And he may have been trying to do the maths and, you know, working out that sitting behind him fuel saving was not the best thing to do. Looking a bit further back here, we've still got MJK fighting for position here. Martin Jekov has managed to pull away though. And Julian has fallen into the clutches of John Hardy. So you've got Apex Magnet now. Less than half a second behind MJK. And then Jake Beatty managed to catch the pack back up. So yeah, Jake's still in 9th, but has managed to make some time back up at least. Is there a battle still going on for 5th place? No, there's not. So Kelvin has, in fact, managed to get up into P4 then. And Sean's given himself another half-second penalty. So this is not going well then for Sean Pretty. After he straight-lined that chicane on the lap before that, got himself a half-second penalty. Now got himself another one. And he's been overtaken by Kelvin Gomersall as well. So not going too well here for Sean Pretty. Has had 2 quite slow laps as well. 2 high 1 minute 55s. You want to be in the 154s ideally. So yeah, Sean needs to try and get his head down here, try and get into a rhythm. Is Dimon Ivanov keeping up with Johnny Newbold? He's keeping there or thereabouts, still in the slipstream range of Johnny. So JJ has not flown off into the distance yet, after I remember overtaking him this time last lap. Kelvin in that VW Beetle. He's in a very strong car for this circuit, very good handling car. But Kelvin doesn't like this track, from what I understand. This is not one that he's keen on. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can catch up Dimon here. Try and make any inroads on him, get into his slipstream range and try and get past him. Remember, it's all about overtaking this first stint. You can sit behind someone, fuel save, and then jump them in the refueling stages. So it looks like there's a battle going on further back here. Looking at the track map, we've got 2 cars side by side. So Jake Beattie trying to make up some of the positions that he lost a couple of laps ago. He's side by side with John Hardy here through the Mercedes-Benz Arena, who is going to come out on top. It looks like Jake's just done a really good move there around the outside of turn number 2. So as we have a look at the replay here, oh, what on earth has happened here? Well, that wasn't meant to happen. Okay, that didn't work. Don't know what happened there. Yeah, Jake did a really good move there around the outside of turn 2, and he managed to make his way back up into P8 then. So let's go on board with Jake. What was his previous lap time? It was a 1:55.4, although he's got a half-second penalty, so not ideal. But yeah, setting consistent mid 1:55s here. Is he going to be able to go after MJK now? MJK in the Peugeot RCZ. It's another handling car, so good for your corners, not very good on the straights. So he's going to be vulnerable here, especially since Jake has slipstream and he does not. So going down into this turn number 11 here, this left-hander through RTL. Jake, he was looking for a move then on the outside, but thought better of it. That is a move you can do, you know. You can go around the outside of that left-hander. Oh, as MJK has clipped the gravel trap there, and he's down to P8, now down to P9. That is a critical mistake then for Gilan. Looks like he just clipped the gravel trap coming out of the Vorsteiner curve, and he's just lost a lot of time there and lost 2 positions and got himself dirty tyres as well as he slides through the chicane. So that was unlucky there for Mohammed. Very easy to make that mistake. I made that when I raced it a couple of weeks ago in Club 100, made the exact same mistake and lost 4 positions because of that mistake. So yeah, Gilan didn't lose half as many spots as I did. Going down to zone 1, Apex Magnet, he's trying to get back past Jake Beattie. He's got in rather deep though into this first corner. As we cut to the outboard shot, oh, he's vulnerable as well to MJK's. A 3-way fight going on here for 7th place. John went for a very optimistic move then. I mean, I know the Toyota Supra does have good brakes, but his brakes aren't that good. That was an almighty send. And yeah, Jake just managed to do the undercut on him, let him fly off deep into the corner, and yeah, get the cut back on him for turn number 2. As MJK's looking up the inside into turn number 5. He's all over the back of him here. There's not much teamwork going on here, not much fuel saving and, you know, sitting behind people. Everyone just seems to be desperate to get to the front. Send it up the inside of everybody. I am keeping an eye on the track map as well, by the way, just keeping an eye on it up in the top right corner. Just trying to see if there's any battles going on that I haven't spotted. Hopefully I'll have a co-commentator in the future on these races, once things change. Looking a bit further back, looking down to P10. Looks like you've got Sheikh and Manupuri still together after their incident on lap number 1. So fighting for 10th place then. They're only 3.5 seconds behind MJK. So if Jake, John and Gilan, that rhymes, they all start with an A, it's alliteration. If they keep fighting for 7th place, then Sheikh and Manupuri could indeed manage to catch them up. They could reel them in. They have got that gap down slightly. It was 4 seconds, I think, the gap to the guys in front of them. So they are slightly making inroads here. Be a good idea if just Sheikh and Manupuri just work together here. Maybe bump shaft each other along, try and give each other as much of a boost as possible so they can try and catch up the pack in front and not just get left behind. But cutting back to the front of the field then, got Ryan Sandel still in the lead of the race, doing consistent 1 minute 54s. Very, very, very good lap times from Ryan Sandel, consistent mid 154s. And he has the fastest lap on the race as well, which is very beneficial because you get bonus points for that. I think you get either 2 or 4 bonus points for the fastest lap. So definitely something you want to try and chase after if you can. As he goes purple coming out of sector 1 then with a 35.3. You've got JJ been left behind somewhat, you know, in second place, doing consistent 154s, but he's struggling to catch Ryan up here. Remember, the gap was 2 seconds between Ryan and JJ after he managed to make his way past him and Ivanov, and he has not managed to get the gap down at all. Setting very similar lap times here, Ryan and Johnny. And then got Diman, not too far behind, you know, only 1.1 seconds behind in the AMG. Not necessarily a strong car around this circuit, the AMG. Not necessarily a strong car around any circuit, to be honest. So he's doing a good job in the Mercedes. And then got Kelvin, he has managed to catch up Diman somewhat. He's only 8 tenths behind now. That gap was 1.4 seconds last time we looked. So Kelvin, he is making inroads here. He will be in slipstream soon at this rate. And then you've got SJP seemingly struggling to get into a rhythm here. Still got that half-second penalty, doing consistent mid to high 155s. So he's yeah, struggling to keep up with the leading pack here in the Mercedes. He was really strong yesterday, Sean. Very, very strong indeed. And he was quite strong in the sprint race as well today. So yeah, it looks like something's happened in this race. Something's just seemingly affecting his pace. Let's see what his lap time is at the end of this lap. Let's look as well to see if he's fuel saving. Doesn't look like he is. Looks like he's giving it full beans. Coming across the line there, 156.9. Yeah, he's definitely having problems here then. Going to have a check on fuel levels. So Ryan got just over half a tank. JJ just under half. Dearman just over half. Kelvin well under half a tank. So Kelvin hasn't done a great job on fuel here. Got Sean who's on smack on half a tank. Martin just over half. Jake is just over half. Got Apex Magnet John Hardy just over half a tank as well. MJK smack bang on half a tank. Manupuri just over half. And then Sheikh Shabazz, who's down actually into 11th place now, just under half a tank. Looks like Sheikh made a mistake on that lap. Did a 159.4. Lost 4 seconds on that lap. So that's a little bit of a shame there for Sheikh Shabazz. Probably is now going to finish in last place, to be honest. Quite a way behind in a very, very competitive race. Very difficult to make up, you know, 7 seconds on anybody, especially when you're not on a great amount of fuel. So cutting back to the front of the field then, got Ryan Sandel. Ryan races in the Medway Racing League in this series, and he also races in the Club 100 GT series, which some of you will have seen on this channel. You would have seen me race in that before. So Ryan, very, very good driver. Races in real life as well. Races in the real life Club 100 series. Used to race against me when we were younger, so back when we were 16 years old. We used to race together in a series called the Ironman Championship at Buckmore Park. So yeah, used to be rivals in that. Very, very quick driver in real life, Ryan. One of the fastest middleweight drivers I've ever come across. Then got JJ. Looks like he's lost some time here. Now 2.5 seconds behind Ryan, so it looks like he lost half a second on this lap, or on the previous lap. Did a 155.3 in the previous lap, so yeah, looks like he may have made a mistake as he comes across the line. Sets another 155.2, so he's had 2 naff laps here. Lost some time, and Dimon Ivanov is in fact into the slipstream range of Johnny Newbold here. So he definitely has lost quite a lot of time. Johnny, real life racing driver, raced in a variety of different things from what I can tell, including the British GT Championship. I believe he used to race in Ultima GTR in the British GT Championship years ago. So Johnny, very, very experienced real life driver. Also owns his own karts. I think he does classic kart racing from what I understand. And yeah, his favourite circuit is Buckmore Park kart circuit, so big respect to him for that. Anyone who has Buckmore Park as their favourite circuit, I massively like. I instantly like somebody who thinks that Buckmore's the best track in the UK. Dimon Ivanov in 3rd place. Has no real life experience. Never done karting before, because in Bulgaria there aren't really any kart tracks, from what I understand. So yeah, I know real life racing is something that Dimon has always wanted to do, but yeah, speaking to him before now, something he's never had the opportunity to do. like I say, in Bulgaria, there just isn't much. There aren't many kart tracks, aren't many race tracks. I think I know of one kart track in Bulgaria, but yeah, there isn't much from what I understand. Kevin Gomersall in P4. He lives up north. There are no kart tracks up north, really. He lives in no man's land. I've spoken to him before now about karting, and yeah, he's only done karting a handful of times. There are lots of indoor tracks where he lives, lots of rubbish indoor tracks, but he's a million miles away for any decent tracks. So yeah, Kelvin, unfortunately, is someone who's always just had to keep to the sim. Kelvin upgraded to a Fanatec a couple of years ago, not a couple of years ago, a couple of months ago, should I say. And he's become so quick since then. He was always quick on the Logitech G29 that he used to use. Used to race against him in a league that I used to race in the Club 73 league. He was always very quick on the Logitech, but since he got a Fanatec, he's gone up to a whole nother level. So quick now, Kevin Gomersall. Around a track that he likes, he is. I can't keep up. He's so quick. Oh, Martin Dekov. Didn't notice that. Looks like he's disconnected. Again, disconnected from race 1. He's disconnected from race 2 as well. So yeah, looks like Martin Jekov's Bulgarian internet has let him down once more. Certainly not the first time that Martin's disconnected. I remember him late last year. He was leading a race in Club 73 and disconnected with 5 laps to go. That was so cruel, leading the A final. First time he'd ever led an A final. Disconnects on lap 20 out of 25. But yeah, D-Man in 3rd place. Here, right behind Johnny Newbold. How is the fuel looking for Johnny? Oh, do you know what? He's not very good on fuel here, you know. Diman's in a lot better situation with fuel. So Diman Ivanov is almost certainly going to be in P2 here. When they exit the pits, he's got a good, you know, second in hand on the fuel, as in he'll have to spend 1 second less refueling. Remember, in Gran Turismo, 7% of a tank takes 1 second to fill, if you know what I mean. So it's 7% per second is the rate of refueling. So if you enter the pits with 7% more fuel than somebody else, you should gain a second on them in the pit lane, if you know what I'm trying to say. Going up into the chicane here, you know what, Dimon may go for the move here, so as we go on board with Dimon Ivanov here, on the outside through the chicane, this could get clumsy, but no, tucks in behind JJ there. I think Johnny was very assertive then. He was very late on the race and we were like, no, you're not coming past. Either you back out of this and go by me, or you cut the chicane. One of the two. You're not going side by side with me through here. That did cost Dimon quite a lot of time though. That was a 156.0, so really not a good lap time here. Ryan is managing to check out here. Still doing consistent 154s with the odd low 55 thrown in. Ryan doing a very, very good drive here. Ryan is very consistent driver. Very experienced. He's been playing GT Sport ever since the game was released, and yeah, he knows what he's doing. Strong around all the circuits, knows all the tracks very well. Knows that Viper like the back of his hand. It's the only car he ever drives, and yeah, doing very, very well in this race here. Kelvin's still in 4th place. He could easily get 2nd here, you know. Although he's not very good on fuel, you could under fuel in the pit lane. You could purposely put too little fuel in, and then come out right behind these guys, fuel save to the end of the race, and maybe overtake them at the end of the race. That's a tactic that I would go for if I was in his shoes right now. Purposely under fuel, then short shifts so that you're still behind these guys, so you sit in their slipstream, and then fuel save to the end of the race. Having a look a little bit further back, it looks like Jake and MJK have reeled in the guys in front. Oh, try and go on board with MJK. Nope, that's who I'm trying to go on board with. So it looks like Jake is reeled in Sean somewhat, nearly into the slipstream range. These two good friends joined the league together. And it also looks like Apex Magnet has had another off. Yeah, on lap number 8 he had a spin, had a proper spin. He lost 10 seconds on lap number 8. So John Hardy's really struggling here, and his tyres aren't looking in great condition either. So remember putting it on pole here in qualifying. Was leading race number 1, and he did very well yesterday as well in the sprint series. Almost won it overall. Did a very good job. Won a few races yesterday, or won one of the races I think. So Apex Magnet really not having a great drive here. Hasn't even done a single 1 minute 54 as he does pull into the pit. So the pit stops begin then. Jake Beatty and Apex Magnet looks like they're going to be trying to do the undercut here. Pitted early. So pitting at the end of lap 11 then, with 14 laps still to go. Both have very similar amounts of fuel remaining. Obviously they will come out at the back of the field. Be interesting to see what the positions are like though in a few laps time. How will this fare? How much fuel are Jake and John going to put into their cars? Again, a nice bit of alliteration there. Quite like that. Let's have a look at Jake. So he's stopped refueling and he's got 91% of a tank. So yeah, hasn't filled the tank. 91% should be enough to go flat out to the end, I think. Doing a bit of quick maths in my head. He should be able to go flat out. John, didn't see how much he left. Oh, he's filled the tank. He's filled the tank. Ooh, that might be unnecessary, you know. Not sure he needed to do that. May have lost him time. Remember, you don't want to put any more fuel than you need to into your car. As Kelvin is side by side with Dim and Evelyn here, going into the RTL, sorry, into the RTL curve. Now into the Vorsteiner curve. Kelvin has dropped back behind Dimman, but he's all over the back of him here. Looks like Dimman may have made a mistake, you know, because he was right behind Johnny Newbold just a second ago, but now he's quite a way behind. So heading down to the chicane. Wouldn't have thought Kelvin's going to be able to get the move done because Kelvin's car is so slow on the straights. Is anyone going to pit the end of this lap? Would be a smart thing to do, try and undercut some people. Yes, Kelvin has indeed dived into the pits. So yeah, maybe going to try and undercut Dimman Ivanov here. He may not realise though how good Dimman is doing on fuel. So if we check Dimman's fuel, look at that. He's still got nearly a quarter of a tank remaining, whereas Kelvin's only got 8%. So yeah, Kelvin did do a great job in the Beetle there. Dimman now 1.3 seconds behind Johnny, so yeah, he has indeed had a bad lap somewhere. Yeah, previous lap was a 1:56.4, so it's not looking too good then. So he's had a bit of a drop off in pace, Dimman Ivanov. Let's have a look at Ryan Sandel. Lap time's still in the consistent 1:55s. I do think there is some tyre drop off though. There definitely is a drop off for everyone. It's definitely a drop off in lap times with tyres, I think. Sean Pretty here, he's in the pit lane. Kelvin has left the pits. Looks like he had 80-something% of a tank then. Just very briefly saw the amount that he left the pits with. Sean, he's got 1.7 seconds of penalties now. He's really building up these penalties. Coming out the pit lane in P9. Always being jumped by Jake, you know. Jake, what's happened there? Jake and Sean were together, and now Jake's miles ahead. He's 4.3 seconds ahead of Sean Pretty here. Has Sean Pretty put too much fuel in his car? I think he has, you know. I think he's overfueled. So that's lost a lot of time then for Sean Pretty. He may have had a bit of an off as well on the laps building up to that, because it was a bit surprising to see such a gap between these two. I didn't expect that. Looking back ahead now. On the end of lap 13, you'll surely pit at the end of this lap. It makes no sense to go beyond this lap. Can't have thought why you would. The overcut doesn't usually work in GT Sport or in motorsport in general, I would say. Very rarely do I see the overcut work where you go long on your first stint and then have fresher tyres in the second stint. Yeah, these two both pulling into the pits. Ryan stayed out, you know. It looks like Ryan Sandel has kept going. Wow. So pulling into the pits then, Johnny Newbold got 2% of the tank remaining, so Johnny had to pit at the end of this lap. Dimman though still got 15% of the tank left. So my guess would be that Dimman's going to come out ahead of Johnny here. So let's see what happens then as the two guys pull into the pits. Meanwhile, let's just check on Ryan. Yep, still going. Got another lap of fuel. He will surely be pitting at the end of this lap. MJK's kept going as well. Again, will almost certainly be pitting at the end of the lap. The fuel won't allow them to do it anymore. Everyone else pitting as well. So you've got Manu Puri in the pits now with 14% of the tank remaining. And you've got Sheikh Shabazz, who actually was on soft tyres with 9% remaining. Yeah, Dimman is ahead. So Dimman is up ahead there. You can see him in the AMG. He has very much jumped Johnny Newbold here. He's 3.3 seconds here. And in fact, Kelvin is side by side with Johnny Newbold going down into turn number 1. Kelvin, he is ahead. So Kelvin's managed to jump Johnny there. How has he managed to do that? Johnny's filled the tank. Why has he done that? Why has Johnny filled the tank with only 11 laps remaining? Wow, okay. So Johnny will certainly be going flat out to the end of the race here, and you know, I think that may have been an accident, because you surely don't need a full tank to do 11 laps around here. So Johnny's lost a lot of time there. Now, well, you know, 3.5, 4 seconds behind Dimman Ivanov. in P5. Kelvin, when he pulled into the pits, he had less fuel than Johnny, which is what makes me really surprised that he's managed to jump him here. He was 2 places behind and on less fuel than Johnny. I was never expecting that to happen. So Johnny's got pretty much a full tank remaining. Kelvin, meanwhile, has a lot less. Yeah, he's got, what, a little more than, I'd say 85%, nothing more than that. 85 to 90% left. And Ryan now is into the pits. So yes, Ryan has finally pulled into the pits at the end of lap 14, decided to go long on the first stint. I can't have thought that would cost him, to be honest. He was quite far off into the distance, especially now that Johnny's lost a lot of time there. I wouldn't have thought Ryan's going to be challenged really for the rest of this race, unless he makes a big mistake. How much fuel is Ryan Sandel going to put in? Yeah, just over 3/4 of a tank. So it looks like Ryan is going to win the race. I mean, you know, something could happen, but unlikely, to be honest. He is 7.5 or 7, 6.5, 6. Make your mind up, Gran Turismo. 6.5 seconds ahead of Diman Ivanov then. Very similar amount of fuel as well to Diman. So I would imagine the gap will probably stay roughly the same to the end of the race, if not Ryan pinning away slightly. Johnny has managed to make his way past Kelvin. Just spotted that. So Johnny, somewhere on his outlap, has managed to regain P3 then. So he's back ahead of Kelvin Gomersall. Must have happened whilst I was looking at Ryan. So Kelvin and then down to 4th. And Johnny has a lot more fuel left as well, so I can't or thought Kelvin will be able to challenge Johnny here. Johnny will certainly be able to go flat out. Kelvin, I'm not so sure, will be able to. Don't know what that B-tool's like on fuel when you go flat out. It's not a car I'm familiar with, not one I've ever really driven before. So I don't know, yeah, what its fuel efficiency is like. Not sure whether they will be able to go flat out to the end of the race or not. Heading down to RTL. Kelvin's got a run on Johnny here. And he's going to the left. Is he going to send it into this left-hander here? He's up the inside. But no. Backs out of it there as Johnny sort of cuts him off there. Doesn't leave him any space whatsoever. Kelvin did somewhat get forced onto the grass there. So Johnny being very aggressive with his defending there. Cutting Kelvin off. You're not coming past Kelvin. You are staying behind in 4th place is my guess as to what Johnny just said then in his head. Looking further back, looks like Apex Magnet has managed to jump the guys who were in front of him. So he managed to jump MJK then, up into P7. Remember, he was down in 9th earlier, after he seemingly spun on lap 8. So he's now up into 7th. Can't have thought he would catch Sean though, with, what, 10 laps remaining. 7.8 second gap to Sean Pretty. How's Sean's lap times looking? Let's have a look what this lap time is at the end of this lap. 1 minute 55.6, so yeah. Definitely seems to be doing a better job than the first stint. Done 2 consistently 155s here. So if I go back to 4th place then, still got Kelvin, not far behind Johnny Newbold, still in his slipstream range. Can Johnny catch Diman, who's in 2nd place? Can Johnny catch him up? Johnny's only, what is it, 2 seconds? Yeah, 2 seconds behind Diman Ivanov. So it is very, very plausible here. With a lot more fuel, definitely will be able to go flat out. Does have 1.2 seconds of penalties though, as you can see on screen. So that is going to be costly. As I said earlier, difficult to burn penalties around the Nurburgring. Very difficult to get rid of them indeed. Typically you have to wait until the end of the race before you then serve them. You typically have to serve them as you finish the race, as you come across the start finish line. Martin Jekov is in the live chat, being disconnected, yeah. Your Bulgarian internet's letting you down, Martin. The Bulgarian internet is struck once more. Brought another good drive to an end. Does look like servers on GT Sport at the moment aren't in great state. I thought they were back into a good state again, but no. Quite a few people disconnecting at the moment, which is not ideal when you're holding a league race. Johnny's managed to break the slipstream to Kelvin. So Johnny's in P3, smack on a second ahead of Kelvin Gomersall now. So he's managing to pull away then. With that extra fuel coming across the line, just set a 1 minute 54.4. So I think that's only about 2/10 off the fastest lap of the race. If I try and bring up the lap time graphics, so if I press this button here, you can only, is that his fastest lap or his last lap? 1:54.3. Oh, Ryan's just set the fastest lap of the race. On lap 16, he's just done a 1:54.3. So Ryan Sandler then, taking the new fastest lap of the race. That lap by Johnny would have been the new fastest lap of the race if it'd only been 1/100th of a second quicker. But no, Ryan just about got it instead by 100th. So that could be quite important, you know, in the championship. That could be quite important. That could be all that decides the championship at the end of the season. Both Ryan and Johnny, very fast drivers in this league, been doing quite well so far. Johnny's had a few naff rounds, and I think he had a couple of DNSs, didn't start, didn't attend. But yeah, that could be quite important as we get to the end of the season. Ryan is, I believe, in the lead of the championship, probably will win the championship at this rate. He's been very, very consistent over the course of the season. You can tell that Ryan's played this game since day one. You can tell he's had it since 2017 because he just knows, he's strong around all the tracks. He knows what he's doing around every track, knows his Viper like the back of his hand. Even around tracks which the Viper is not very strong around, Ryan's always quick. Always quick. Knows how to short shift this thing, knows how to do everything, knows what brake bias to use around all the tracks. And yeah, doesn't necessarily do all that much practice, Ryan. Doesn't need to though, when he knows everything so well. When he's so strong, you don't need to do a ton of practice. That's something I found with time. I used to have to be strong in races when I first started playing this game start of last year. I had to put, you know, an hour, 2 hours practice in just to be on the pace. Whereas I find nowadays, now I've been playing the game for 18 months, I can jump on and be on the pace within about 10 minutes. That's what happens when you've learnt the tracks. But Johnny Newbold has just about taken the fastest lap of the race off of Ryan Sandel. He's just taken it by 0.004 of a second. This is a close battle here for the fastest lap. 0.004 of a second in it. So Johnny Newbold, yeah, snatching those fastest lap points off of Ryan Sandel then. Also reeling in Dimon Ivanov. He's back into the slipstream range of Dimon here. So he's got that gap down. It was, what, 4 seconds when they exited the pits. And over the course of the last 5 laps, he's managed to get that gap right the way down now. Down to under 3/4 of a second, that magical slipstream range. So Johnny doing a good job here. Definitely going to keep an eye on this. Having a little bit of a look further back down the field. Got Shakespeare badge, yeah. Looks like he will unfortunately be finishing in last place. Got Manupuri. He's managed to reel in the guys in front. So he's only 1.7 seconds behind Mohammed Julian Khan now. Behind MJK. So he's in 9th place but catching the guys up ahead. And then Gilan is only a second behind Apex Magnet. So not far behind here. They were battling earlier in the race, remember? There was a battle going on between those two earlier. Looks like Apex Magnet has settled in front at the moment, but that's not necessarily the end of it. Cutting back to P2. Let's go on board with Johnny Newbold going up into the chicane. He's very, very close to Dimman now. Definitely in striking range. Could definitely go for a move into the first corner. That's what I would expect to happen. Obviously not going to go for the move into the chicane here, way too far back, but if he gets this right, took the chicane quite well, could definitely be within range for that first sector. Johnny joined this league end of last season. Joined with 2 rounds to go of last season. One on his debut in Lobby 2. For some reason was put in Lobby 2 for the first race. For some reason he demanded that he was down in the second lobby, not in Lobby 1. So he dominated that, won that. And yeah, he's been in Lobby 1 ever since the start of this season. He's good, but I've found inconsistent, Johnny. Very, very good at some tracks, and then at places like Lago Maggiore he finishes literally last. And there was another track as well the other day where he finished last as well. So, you know, can be great, can also be not so great as well. I think it was St. Croix, where JJ, I think he quit actually. I think he parked up in the pits with a few laps to go. As he, he claimed to have never driven around the track before. So, yeah. Great around some circuits, not so great around others. Tracks like the Red Bull Ring, absolutely phenomenal. As I was saying earlier, he was phenomenal at round 1. Did a great job with fuel saving. Almost reeled in Ryan Sandel towards the end. He was 5 seconds behind Ryan Sandel at the start and almost beat him. He did a great job in round number 1, but then yeah, like I say, had some not so great rounds, round 4 and round 7 especially. Still in the slipstream range of Dimonov. He has just missed his apex slightly there through the Schumacher S, but he still is very close. Still firmly within that slipstream range. he may, before he goes for the move and dimmer, he may want to try and get rid of this penalty. So he may, when he gets really close, may want to just slam on the brakes early for a corner, try and ditch some of the penalty. Because the last thing you want to do is get up into second place and then Dimon sit in your slipstream for the rest of the race and then jump you at the end when you serve your penalty. Has Dimon got a penalty? I don't believe he does. No, he doesn't. So he's got the upper hand here, Dimon. No penalty and in front. Fuel levels, yeah, Dimon's got less fuel. But I do think Dimon can go flat out to the end. He's still got half a tank with only 6 laps to go. That should be plenty. So starting lap 20 then, of this 25 lap race. This race, by the way, is an 80-mile race. So the feature race in this series is usually 20 to 25 miles long. And, sorry, the sprint race, yeah, is that. And then the feature race is usually 75 to 80 miles long. Roughly makes 100 miles. Oh, Johnny, he's into second place. So just as we cut away then, Johnny decided to go for the move. That was bad timing. Can we see the move? So yeah, going down into turn 1. Side by side with Dimon, out of turn 1. Did he chop Dimon off into turn 2? Yes, he did. So sealed that move off. And yes, he is up into second place then. Still got that penalty though, with Dimon very close behind. So Dimon still does have the upper hand. Can he keep up with Johnny now that he has the slipstream? Can he stay with him? If he does stay with him, then he will almost certainly end up finishing in second place. Dimon's someone I've been racing against now for about a year. First joined Club 73, which is the mother league of this. It's where MRL spawned from. He first joined Club 73, I think, summer of last year. Was very strong from the get-go. I think season 3 of Club 73, his first full season. I think he finished in 4th place, something like that. It was very, very strong indeed. I think he finished on the podium in a few of the A finals. Coming out of the Vorsteiner curve, Dimon now has got a run on JJ. He's got a run on Johnny Newbold going up to the chicane. He is ahead. Is he going to be able to seal this move off? Johnny's keeping his nose up the inside. There's a little bit of contact there as they turn into the corner. And Johnny has kept the move. That was very, very aggressive then from Johnny Newbold. He kept his nose in and did give Dimon a little bit of a push there. So that was very, very aggressive indeed. I probably would have backed out of that if I was Johnny and then tried to get the move back into the final corner. But no, Johnny kept his nose there. Kept his nose in up into second place. He does need to get rid of his penalty, Johnny. So he does need to think about that. Does need to try and burn that when he can. Meanwhile, Kelvin Gomersall is not far behind. So he's right behind these guys here, ready to capitalise where possible. Remember, Kelvin was ahead of Johnny when they exited the pits, and he's not been dropped too much. He's still quite close to Johnny Newbold. So with 5 laps to go then, or 4.5 laps to go, can Kelvin get past these guys? Can he get into the podium spots? Kelvin's been very, very consistent this season, very, very strong. He's had a few naff rounds, but by and large, very good. I think he's second in the championship right now. Done a very, very good job so far. He was, for quite a while, leading the championship. I think Ryan's now usurped him, but still right up there. When I say leading the championship, by the way, Ryan's leading the championship when drop rounds are taken into account. I think Kelvin's leading at the moment in terms of overall points, but Ryan leading it when drop rounds kick in. At the end of this season, 3 rounds will get dropped. So your 3 least scoring rounds, your 3 lowest scores, they will be discounted. They'll be deleted, basically, be ignored. So it's your 10 best rounds out of the 13. That's what counts towards the championship. Looks like Ryan Sandel is going to take this win quite comfortably. So exiting the final corner, exiting the Coca-Cola curve with 4 laps to go. Ryan Sandel is 9 seconds ahead of Johnny Newbold. That's what I was trying to say. Dimon then a very close 3rd place, and Kelvin not far behind in 4th. Having a look at the track map in the top right, doesn't look like there's any battles going on further back. Looks like everyone has spread out somewhat. Oh, Johnny has decided to serve his penalty. That's an interesting decision. Very interesting. What's made him do that? That's an interesting choice. I would have waited to the end of the race. Either serve it when you're in someone's slipstream, just kind of incrementally get rid of it, like 2/10, 2/10 a lap, or I would have served it all at the end. But no, he decided to get rid of half of that penalty in the middle of the start-finish straight, which is a bit of a strange decision, to be honest. But yeah, now I've got that penalty down to half a second. Still got half a second more to get rid of, and he's 1.1 seconds behind the pack now. 1.1 seconds behind Kelvin. That was, yeah, an interesting choice. Surprised he didn't stand the brakes for longer, to be honest, and get rid of all of it. Then he could have at least, you know, got his head down and just raced to the end. But no, he's still got half a second to get rid of. So Johnny Newbold then down to P4. As I'm sure Dimmon's going to be happy about that right now. Back up into second place, doing a really, really, really good job in this race. First time he's raced, certainly in MRL, in about a month, I think. I think it's the first time he's raced in anything for a month. On his Fanatec CSL Elite for the first time. Doing really, really well indeed. Is this a sign of things to come for Dimon Unov? Hasn't usually been someone who's been right at the front of Lobby 2. Often he's near the front, but not, you know, winning races necessarily. Not necessarily on the podium every race. He was on a Thrustmaster T150 up until now, but maybe the Fanatec has unleashed him, allowed him to go faster. Thrustmaster T150 that you used to use, that's my old wheel. Not a great wheel, to be honest. Anyone who follows Random Call Sign will have seen the video that he put up yesterday, where he rather slated that wheel. And yes, I have to agree with his review. The wheel that I used to use and that Dimman used to use is not a great wheel, that T150. Very sluggish wheel. Very difficult for a chicane or things like that to have like a quick change of direction. Kelvin still in P3, still in the switching range of Dimman. I did sort of write Kelvin off here after the pit stops. When he had a really low amount of fuel at the end of the first stint, didn't think he would necessarily be able to keep up with Dimman, especially because Dimman had, what was it, 13% more fuel when they pitted. It's so much more, or no, it was more than that. It was, I think, 20% more fuel when they pitted. So I did not think Kelvin was going to be able to reel Dimman back in here. He was both behind and with 20% more, well, 20% less fuel. But he's managed to do a good job here of this second stint. Looking at his lap times on the right hand side, consistent-ish 155s, a few high 154s thrown in there too. Hasn't dropped off in pace either. He's still on a good pace, even though he's coming towards the end of the race, towards the end of the stint. He's about 10 laps into this stint. He's still doing consistent 155s. Going to have a little bit of a check here on everybody's fuel levels. So Ryan, tyres still in really good nick, and still got just under a quarter of a tank. Dimman, very similar amount of fuel. Tyres though aren't quite in as good a state, but still not too bad either. Considering they've only got 2 laps to go, those tyres are in perfectly good state. Kelvin's as well, perfectly fine. You've got Johnny again in decent state tyres, still again just under half a tank. So Johnny seemingly, although we thought he'd overfueled, oops, try and go aboard them. Although we thought he overfueled at the end of that first stint, seemingly didn't. Because he's now got a similar fuel level to the guys in front. Oh, Kelvin Gomersall is up the inside of Dimon Ivanov into the final corner. I did not see that one coming. They are now side by side as we go on board with Kelvin. Side by side going down into the first corner. Looks like Kelvin got a run on Dimon out of that chicane. Got up his inside into the final corner. Can he make the move stick into turn 1? He is behind Dimon. Is Dimon going to be able to hold it off around the outside as they are side by side through turn 1? Dimon's gone in quite deep. Going into turn 2 into the Mercedes-Benz arena. We've got Dimon in on the inside. They are side by side still, and it looks like Kelvin has managed to pull the move off. No, still side by side into turn number 3. Dimon, he's got the position back. I thought that was the end of that battle then, coming out of turn 2, but no. Dimon back up into second place. Got Johnny Newbold now in P4. Up the inside of Kelvin Gomersall into this turn number 5. They are side by side, but Kelvin's going to have the inside for turn 6. And Kelvin has held on to P3. So that was a risky decision then from Kelvin to go for the move to try and get second place then, because he nearly lost third place from that. He nearly ended up going down to 4th rather than going up to 2nd. But he has just about held on to 3rd then. Looks like Johnny Newbold's not going to be able to challenge yet. He's picked up another penalty. So he's got 1 second of penalties now. So it doesn't look like he's going to be able to challenge these guys at the end of the race. He's going to have to slam his brakes on as he comes across the line. Oh, and Johnny's off in the gravel chop as well. So yeah, definitely won't be able to keep up here with a lap to go. Definitely won't be able to challenge them. So then, with just over a lap to go of this race, got a good battle for second place going on here. Let's go on for roof cam of Kelvin. This is a review that I always use. Going down into the chicane. Kelvin, I don't think it's quite close enough to strike to go for the move, but if he nails the chicane, maybe able to send it up the inside into the final corner. He's got a good run through there, but no, not quite close enough to do a repeat of what he did last lap. Now coming through the final corner. On this last lap, is there going to be a mess through the first sector as it was in the previous lap? Dimon straight away gone defensive, gone straight to the right, now back over to the left. You can't weave on the straights as long as he doesn't move over to the right again, that is fine, and he does not, so that's okay. Moving over to the right and then back to the left is okay, as long as you then don't move back over to the right once more. As long as you're not weaving around like crazy, then that's okay. And swiping everybody off the track. On this final lap then, Kelvin in a car which is very good through the corners, so he should be able to catch up Dimon somewhat through this sector, through this first sector. Just under half a second behind. Got a good exit out of the arena. Now coming down into this left-hander, into turn number 5. He's holding that gap at about half a second, so I'm having a look at the gap up on the left-hand side, hovering around about that 4/10 mark, now down to 3/10. So he's caught him somewhat, caught him by about 2/10 over the course of this lap so far. Now into the hairpin. Both of them going in deep for a late apex, so they can get on the power well. Are either of them going to touch the gravel trap? No. Are they going to get through the Schumacher S as well? On new tyres you can take this flat out, but no. Both lift off through there seemingly, as their tyres are somewhat worn out. Those super soft tyres starting to get quite knackered. Now coming through this left-hander of RTL curve, now into the Vorsteiner curve. We've got Kelvin less than, 2/10 behind Dimon. He's got the run on him here. Got a good exit out of the Vorsteiner curve. Now heading up to the chicane. He's pulled up very early out of the slipstream. In fact, he was probably too close there to get a run on Dimon. As we go into the chase cam view, going down into the chicane. He's on the outside of Dimon Ivanov on the final lap of the race here. Into the final chicane. As Ryan Sandler takes the win, we're going to stay on board with Kelvin here. Is he going to be able to do anything through this final corner? Looks like he's not going to be able to. So as Dimon Ivanov comes through the final corner, he's lost the back end there. This is going to be a run to the line for second place. Who is going to take second place? I don't know. It's a dead heat. It's a dead heat. That was, what an ending that was. It says second and third, but it doesn't say that there's a gap up in the top left. So that's a dead heat in my eyes. I'm going to have to see the post-race results, see what the results say afterwards, see if the results can decide who finished second and third there. In fact, you know what? I'm going to save this replay and see who got second then, because that was a photo finish there. If the game can't work out, then I'll have to work it out for myself who finished third and who finished second. So that was a very, very, very good ending to the race there. Looks like Dimon on his old tyres just lost the back end then through the final corner. I thought it was all over after Kelvin backed out through the chicane. I thought that was it. But Kelvin coming out of that final corner managed to capitalise on Dimon, and yeah, have a dead heat across the line. But anyway, Jake Beatty, or Batty, I don't know how you say his name, I'll speak to him afterwards, finished in 5th place. Got MJK in 6th, you got Manu Puri in 7th, Sean Pretty finished down in 8th place, so something must have happened towards the end then to Sean Pretty. We had Apex Magnet in 9th place, and Sheikh Shabazz in 10th place. So let's have a look at the results. What is it going to say? It says Kelvin finished a second ahead of Dimon. No, didn't. What? Did Dimon pick up a penalty at the end? I think Dimon had a 1 second penalty, you know, because he ghosted through that last corner on the last lap. I think he may have picked up a penalty right at the end without us noticing. Because it says he finished smack on a second behind Kelvin there. So I think that across the line, I think Dimon was ahead by, what is that, 0.006 of a second, and then had a 1 second penalty. Okay, I'll have a look at the replay, but yeah, that looks like that's what happened there, from what I can work out. But yeah, guys, I hope you did enjoy watching that race. I think the commentary was a lot better than yesterday's. It's a lot easier when you don't have to organise and, you know, keep programming all these grids and stuff. You can just kind of concentrate on commentating, just load up the settings and hit go. So yeah, I hope you did enjoy watching that. Next up on this channel will be highlights from this stream. So yeah, I'll turn this commentary into some highlights and put them up tomorrow, day after, something like that. And then after that, I don't know what will be next. I haven't decided. It won't be a Gran Turismo video. I'm almost certain of that. Because in all honesty, for those of you that are watching, I'm probably never going to make a Gran Turismo video again, not a normal voiceover video. I'll probably make commentary highlight videos, but probably won't make another GT Sport video. Reason being that so many people make those videos. It's such an oversaturated market, as a business person would put it. So many people making GT Sport videos, and not that many viewers to watch it, as GT Sport is very much dying. So I think I am going to change this channel up, change what I'm making. Got a million different ideas, so many things that I want to make, so much stuff, and I think you will see that all in due course. And I may even rebrand the channel as well. May just call it Luke Battersby. Have a bit of a rebrand, so that people become fans of me as such, rather than a fan of the brand. I do think the Batters Raceco name can be a bit confusing. Let me know your thoughts. I think people can get confused. Is this a company? Is this just a person? Is this, what is this? Is this an organisation? Whereas if you just call this channel Luke Battersby, it's pretty simple. It's a person. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know down in the comment section what you think. For those of you that are still watching, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video in the highlights of this race. So till then, goodbye.